Hello, Mr. Otto. My name is Zahra Santoso, and my ID number is 33230096. And today I want to discuss about two topics that I choose. The first topic is subject auxiliary invention, and topic number two is relative clause. So I'm gonna explain the topic number one first. Subject auxiliary invention. Definition. Subject auxiliary invention is a synthetic process in English where the auxiliary verbs move to a position before the subject. This movement may occur in interrogative sentence, but it can also appear in other constructions. In declarative sentence, English follows a subject-verb order. In interrogative sentence, this order changes due to static rules. Basic structure. Statement: subject plus auxiliary plus verb or complement. For the question is auxiliary plus subject plus verb or complement. Types of subject auxiliary invention. A. Yes, no question. The most common use. Example: he is tired. The question sentence is he tired? They have finished. The question sentence is have they finished? B. Weiha question. B. Weiha question. In Weiha question, two movements occurs. 1. Weiha word moves to the front. 2. Auxiliary verbs with the subject. Example: she is studying linguistics. 2. What is she studying? Do support in inversion. When there is no auxiliary verb, English inserts do, does, or did. For example, she likes syntax. Does she like syntax? That's the question sentence. Here, does carries tense, while the main verb returns to its base form. Why this is important in linguistics? Subject auxiliary invention. The first one is to show that English syntax is rule governed. 2. Proves that sentence formation depends on hierarchical structure. 3. Is strong evidence for movement rules in generative grammar. This concept is closely related to structure dependence, even though it is easier to observe. Typical learners' errors and analysis. So, the wrong question is she is tired because there's no invention. And 2. Like she syntax is the wrong sentence question because there is no auxiliary and no do support. These errors shows incomplete master of English and synthetic rules. And for the conclusion is, subject auxiliary inversion is not only a grammar rule, but also a synthetic process that reflects how English organizes sentence structure through movement and hierarchy. Topic number 2, relative clause. The definition is, a relative clause is the dependent clause that modifies a noun phrase by providing descriptive or identifying information. It is introduced by a relative pronoun or relative adverb. Relative clauses allow speakers to build complex noun phrase. Synthetic structure of relative clause. The basic pattern is NP noun, C or CP relative pronoun. Example: the student who studies linguistics is diligent. Here, who replaces the students inside the clause. 2. This creates a synthetic dependency. Function of relative pronouns. Relative pronouns serve two roles simultaneously. The first is they revert back to the noun, or anaphoric function. 2. They act as an element inside the clause, subject or object. An example sentence is, the book that I read was difficult. That is an object of read and refers to the book. Types of relative clause. A. Defining restrictive relative clauses. Because it is essential for identifying the noun, and there is no commas, and the meaning changes if removed. The example sentence is students who study syntax understand sentence structure. B. Noun defining relative clause is give extra non-essential information and always use commas and more common in written and academic English. The example is syntax, which is a branch of linguistics, studies sentence structure. Omission of relative pronouns. In defining relative clause, the relative pronouns can sometimes be omitted if it functions as an object. The example is the book that I borrow is interesting, but it cannot be omitted if it is the subject. Linguistic importance. Relative clause demonstrate the hierarchical sentence structure, long-distance dependency, and the interaction between syntax and semantic. There are key evidence in semantic theory. To conclude, relative clauses allow English speakers to compress information into a single sentence while maintaining clarity and grammatical accuracy. And that's all my presentation about two topics that I choose. Thank you for listening, Mr. Otto. And now I want to present about three diagrams. Let's get started. First sentence is the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. This sentence is a simple declarative sentence. That means it is a normal sentence that gives information. Its basic structure is S sentence, NP plus PP, or noun phrase plus verb phrase. Noun phrase is function as the subject, and PP, verb phrase, function as the predicate. The subject of the sentence is the quick brown fox. It is called a noun phrase because it has the as an article, quick or brown as an adjective, and fox as a noun. And for the predicate, PP or verb phrase, the predicate is jumps over the lazy dog. It is a verb phrase because it contains jumps as a verb over the lazy dog as a prepositional phrase. Deep structure explanation. Deep structure of this sentence represents the basic semantics relationship. Agent as the fox, and for the jumps as an action, and a location or path as a over the dog. Deep structure focuses on the core meaning, not the surface word order or modifier. 2. The girl who is wearing a red dress is dancing. This sentence, it is a complex sentence because it contains a main clause and a relative clause. And the subject of this sentence is noun phrase, uh, the girl as the head noun, and who is wearing a red dress as a relative clause. And for the relative clause, who is relative pronoun referring back to the girl. And for the clause modifying the noun, the sentence is wearing a red dress. For the main verb phrase is dancing as the main predicate. Deep structure explanation. In the deep structure, the girl is a single entity, and the relative clause only adds descriptive information, and the main action is dancing. Semantic role in this sentence is the girl is entity, and for the attribute is wearing a red dress, and for the action is dancing. The meaning of this overall sentence is the girl is dancing, and the girl has the attribute of wearing a red dress. The relative clause does not change the main action, only clarify the referent. 3. Stefano saw Zehiclia with the telescope. For this sentence is grammatical but structurally ambiguous because the prepositional phrase with the telescope can attach to a different parts of the sentence. On the surface, the PP appears after the object. The sentence is saw the Hecla with telescope. However, scientifically, there are two possible attachments. Structure explanation. This structure 1. PP attached to the verb phrase. The sentence Stefano used the telescope as an instrument, and for the semantic role is experience as Stefano, action for the sentence saw, and instrument for the telescope. The meaning is Stefano saw the Hecla by using a telescope. Div structure 2. PP attached to the noun phrase. The Hecla is one having the telescope, and for the semantic roles is object as the Hecla, and for the attribute with the telescope. The meaning is Stefano saw the Hecla who had a telescope. This ambiguity is not visible in surface structure, but it exists in a deep structure. 4. She believes that the earth is round. This sentence contains a main clause and a complement clause. That clause. And for the structure is NP for she, and for place is for believe plus CP. CP is complementizer phrase. It contains that as a complementer and the earth is round as a professional content. Deep structure explanation. The deep structure represents a mental state relationship. Experience for she, mental verb for believe, and professional phrase and proposition is the earth is round. And the meaning of this sentence is a person holds a belief towards a proposition. The dot clause is not additional information, but the content of the belief itself. 5. The house where I grew up has been demolished. This sentence includes a relative clause introduced by an adverb where and a passive construction. And subject is noun phrase. The head noun is house, relative clause is where I grew up, and for the verb phrase has been demolished as present perfect passive form. Deep structure explanation. The deep structure shows that a main entity is the house, a past personal experience as the speaker grew up there, and for the event is demolition. The semantic relation. Where I grew up is the location experiential information and has been demolished change of state. The meaning is the house associated with the speaker's childhood no longer exists because it has been demolished. The relative clause adds context, while the main clause expresses the main event. And that's all my explanation about the project tree diagram. Thank you, Mr. Otto, for listening.